Let's talk to one of the politicians about this, former leader of the Conservative Party, Sir Ian Duncan Smith, who joins us. Good morning to you, Sir Ian.
Morning, Julia.
Again, just going through all those statistics, and even Jonathan Van Tam, the Deputy Chief Medical Officer,
Yes.
saying the other day at the press conference that it was incredibly safe for two people who've had both jabs to meet up, and yet still completely illegal. We are still, not shy off 2 months away from what we're told will be the end of all lockdown restrictions. We're still, 2.5 weeks away from people being able to open their bars and restaurants indoors and pubs and actually get back to earning a living. And people getting back to offices and getting back to visiting their families, staying overnight and the like, going on holiday. We are moving at a glacial pace out of this lockdown, and yet the statistics tell us it's safe now.
Well, I agree with you. Not surprisingly. I have to say that I think Westminster has been consumed for 2 weeks in this farrago, I think, of what the Prime Minister did and who paid for what and all the rest of it. Meanwhile, what we're seeing here is that the incredible vaccination program is having a phenomenal effect. 22 million people now can live in areas where there's no death at all.
No cases, no
Sorry,
cases
I
at
beg your
all.
pardon. No cases at all. And the reality here we have is that, meanwhile, Westminster doesn't want to talk about this. The truth is, people really want to get their lives back, and I think we need to make some advantage to this. We took a huge gamble last year. The government, to its credit, bought vaccines, invested in vaccines, got these vaccinations going. We're ahead of the rest of the world. And yet I noticed today that France is talking about unlocking at about the same time as the UK is, having had a much lower level of vaccination and a much bigger problem. And I have to say, we should be taking advantage of this. We want to get back to work. We want to get the economy going. We want people to get their lives back, for goodness sake. I walked past a pub the other day to find people shivering and cold outside the pub, clinging on to their freezing cold beer, looking through the windows longingly, wondering why they couldn't sit inside the place and have a drink. And that's absurdity. Let's get them inside those pubs.
Well, it is
Let's get these things properly
even
done.
this weekend.
I
There
know.
might be a lot of rain of bank holiday. Technically speaking, or legally speaking, we absolutely endorse people keeping to the law, but you can still say when you think the law is an ass. You can't go and visit a loved one who, if you could have had two jabs, they could have had two jabs. You can't sit indoors in their home, even sitting on the other side of the room. You are breaking the law.
I can completely agree with you, and this is where the big issue lies. I mean, meanwhile, people say, well, there's all this stuff about the Boris Johnson stuff. I don't say it's not serious about these things; they are. But the way that last 2 weeks, everybody suspended everything else and just gone after this. Meantime, there are really big decisions to be made about why we aren't accelerating the lockdown. Why aren't political leaders debating and arguing about that? Because the truth is, people's lives have been desperately damaged by COVID. And what we need to do is get them the opportunity to get those lives back, restabilize their mental health, go and see their loved ones in care homes. For God's sake, the most terrifying thing was watching people touching windows and now having to go in wearing kit.
Oh, well,
Why can't we just get
if you
back?
are allowed in, there's still an ongoing issue that while we're allowed to be out and about, people, I know you'll know about this. I mean, it's absolutely horrific. In care homes, we're in a situation where a resident who's taken out by a loved one, a resident having had two jabs, being taken out by a family member who's had two jabs, in a park, only meeting outdoors, is required to quarantine for 2 weeks afterwards. Now, I'm sorry, this is we are basically treating people in care homes now as prisoners.
I know, and I think the problem here is that, as there used to be an old saying that politician generals always end up fighting the last war, and I think there is an element of that here, which is that scientists, I think, are now, a large chunk of them, are petrified that they will get this one wrong, and they're talking each other down quite a lot. There are others, like Tim Spector, say that no, that follow the figures. But I think there is a real sense that, we don't want to repeat last year. And they factored out the vaccines completely in some of this. I was listening to somebody on the radio, I can't remember their name, saying, no, you'll be careful. We could head into the third wave later this year. And that, just look how damaging that was last year. And the interviewer said, but hold on a second. There has been a game changer in the middle of this called vaccinations. He went, yeah, of course, they do make a difference, but it could be desperate. And if we're going to fear our lives like this, we'll never do anything. We have to get some sense about the balance of risk back into decision-making the moment We aren't doing that. And that means we don't inform the British public properly. So what we do is continue with Project Fear, which is, I think, destabilizing many people who find themselves locked alone in their homes, often for no reason, with 2 jabs, giving them a pretty near total immunity. All this stuff has got to be rebalanced, and it must happen now.
Well, do you mind telling your colleagues in government that they could stop all the Project Fear advertising? I mean, it's not been quite as bad lately, and we have them on this show, and I get loads of people complaining. We don't choose the adverts, and if you don't, unlike the BBC, you don't pay for us, guys. But the advertising is still telling people, 1 in 3 people who have COVID, don't have symptoms, and you could kill people. It's tempting to meet inside, but you mustn't. We're still getting adverts terrifying the living daylights out of people.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's time now for us to talk about what life will be like as we unlock, not to talk about what life was like. We all know what that was like, and we all know the risks. And what we now want to know is, what was the advantage of getting vaccines? We've done brilliantly. The government has to take our hat off to the government. They have been absolutely brilliant at getting these vaccines rolled out faster than anywhere else in the world, really, and certainly per capita. And that means now that over 60% of the adult population are vaccinated. Now they're moving to the 40-year-olds, to people who may carry it, but certainly unlikely, almost certainly unlikely to get it, except in some exceptions. So the reality here is we are now well on our way. Brilliantly done. Well done, the GPs. Well done, all of those who volunteered. Fantastic. I volunteer in one of my centres, and I have to say, the mood is wonderful. Yeah. Everyone is upbeat. Let's now let them take some advantage of that. We are social beings. Let us get back to being social beings again and start to enjoy our lives again, because without that, it's just miserable, and we've got to start doing it.
But you also know that millions of people are already doing that, and law-abiding citizens, good people who want to obey the law, are already breaking the law, and that makes a mockery of the law, doesn't it? That's the issue. Let's also talk about, well, you said that, Parliament, House of Commons and Westminster generally consumed for the last 2 weeks over wallpaper gate, cash for cushions, or whatever we're calling it. Look, this is an important story, with the Prime Minister getting money behind the scenes, which then turns into a loan, and from a Mitch donor to fund redecoration in number 10. Sorry, I do want to know who the donor is. I do want to know if he's had that money. If he's broken the rules, he needs to be brought up on it. He could lay all this to rest today. Everybody, Tory Central Office, Boris Johnson, the wallpaper person, or whatever it is, everyone just produce their bank statement showing who paid what to whom when. We could have it all sorted out by 6 o'clock. Many stories saying this is a distraction. It's only a distraction because Boris Johnson isn't being straight with us.
Well, look, I don't know the details of this like anybody else.
But exactly. But someone knows. Boris Johnson knows the details, and he's choosing not to put them in the public domain.
I know, and there's endless inquiries and all sorts of stuff.
But they don't have to be endless inquiries. He could solve it all today.
My personal view is there'll always be endless inquiries because, otherwise there's nothing to do. But the reality is that it's up to him and it's up to them as to how they approach this story. One thing I will say is that, of course, I agree with you. It's important to know that there are no advantages given to individuals who may support political parties, etc. They do so for good, positive reasons, not for their own personal well-being. But, in the midst of this, we've been in the fury and the feeding frenzy that's taken place. Some really strong people have been attacked. For example, Dyson, in the middle of the week, was lambasted, particularly by the BBC, over the fact that somehow he was a donor to the Tory party and had advantage given. It was quite the opposite. When the real news of the story came out, it turns out that he's never been a donor. And actually, he spent his own money trying to get these respirators right and has never claimed that back. Yeah. He did what was necessary at the time. And I think that's the reason why, yes, this is an important story, and maybe it could be ended by a few comments. But the truth is, right now, out campaigning, people just don't raise it. And I saw the news about the poll today. Yes. It tells us what we know. Well,
that's it. Front page of the Times, a YouGov poll. Let me just say it's an 11-point gap opening up between the Tories and Labour. Conservatives on 44%, same as a week ago. Labour down 1 point on 33, despite all of these bad headlines.
Well, I come back to the point that we were on at the beginning, which is because the reality for most people who have been suffering in lockdown, who are desperate to keep their jobs, want to get their businesses running, want to meet their loved ones in care homes. These are the big issues right now. And the question mark is really, where is, in a sense, the opposition on that policy? Why isn't the opposition now arguing for those who want to open up? And yet nothing. And it looks to them like politicians just say the same things and don't, on the big issues, divide. And that's the real issue. We need politics to reflect what people really want. Yes, these are important issues in Westminster. I'm not downgrading them, but there are other really, really important issues.
The stuff that affects people's real lives. Just finally,
Absolutely.
very briefly, if you would, we've got this photo opportunity in John Lewis at Keir Starmer. Amazing, he managed to find a John Lewis store that has survived the lockdown that he supported, by the way. But he went into the wallpaper department, managed to pick up the most boring bit of wallpaper ever, and basically making a little photo up to mock, and we're showing the picture right now on our video screen, mocking the Prime Minister, the idea of spending all this time choosing wallpaper. What do you make of that photo op?
You know, what happens, I know this because I was once leader of the opposition. When they think they've got a story, you go after it hard because you're getting coverage. We see that a lot of that's not cutting through. But the real problem is suddenly it becomes an obsession. And I think whoever the smart ass was that picked up the phone and said, oh, I've got a really good wheeze. Why don't you go along to John Lewis and we'll just look at the wallpaper? Everyone chuckles away. Good idea. Let's go and do that. Well, it may have got a photograph in the paper, but the truth is, lots and lots of people wonder, what the hell is he doing? This is a serious story, and now suddenly, you know, they want to reduce it to a joke. Okay. And that's what does the problem. The reality is, right now, is for opposition, make sure you hold the government to account on a whole range of issues, not just try to get them on one issue.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it there. Sir Ian Duncan Smith, I do apologise, and apologies for that fruity language there if the kids heard. Apologies for that one. Sir Ian Duncan Smith, former leader of the Conservative Party, thank you very much.